All right. We are back for another live stream. Welcome to Corbellic Studios. We are back. We are back for one of the best live stream painting shows where we discuss some of the best topics. We get into some of the best paintings. We really break down not just painting, but we break down the business mindset, the successful mindset about things of how you could also take in your life. So that's why this is the best paint show right here, because you're getting lessons that's not only geared towards painting, right? It's geared towards your life. It's geared towards a higher mindset. It's geared towards having a clarity, but also having a higher frequency. All right. So this is what we come here for. These are the things that always excite me. These are the conversations that I used to have by myself when I'm in the car on my way to this job that I hate. I used to be like, oh man, I want to say this. I feel this way. And what if I could say this to other people? So everything that I always used to say that I was in the car ride when I was going to work or when I was coming from work, we all had these conversations. We all had these deep conversations when we're talking to ourselves. We're having the best conversations when we're in the car, going to work, coming from work. Then that's when we're so philosophical. We're like geniuses. But then all of a sudden, isn't it the weirdest thing? You go to the job, all of a sudden you walk in the door. You walk in the door, and then all of a sudden the frequency goes doo. And then 4 hours goes by. It's lunchtime. Another 3 hours goes by. Then it's time to leave. Then when it's time to leave, your frequency is so low that all the things that you said in the morning time, you were a genius. But then when you get in the car, all of a sudden, you're tired. You're mentally drained. You don't even feel like doing those business ideas. You don't even feel like doing any of those things that you talked about doing. Huh? Who all relates to that? You know what I'm talking about. Let's see who we have in here in the comments. We have anybody in here? Huh. Let me make sure this is public. Because you guys know what I'm talking about. Yep, public. Live viewers. All right, just making sure that we are in here. All right, let's get back to the show. I'm here, just making sure that you're here as well. If you're here, if you're in the comments, or if you can see the comments, let me know. Usually I see some comments by now. I just want to make sure that we're all good. Leave me a 5-5. Let me know that we are all good in the comments. All right. But if not, then that's fine. You know, we'll still keep the show going, and then you'll see this at your leisure. I understand it's usually like Wednesdays and Thursdays. All right. We got fun and animals here. All right. Awesome. All right. So we are here. How many times are you going to say all right? Just want to make sure before we go. But you already know what I'm talking about. So you go into work, you're a genius, then you're there 8 hours, you come out, you're tired, you feel dumbed down, you don't believe in yourself. I'm telling you, they do something inside of the work. I hear that there's a rumor that inside of corporate America, they have they play dead noise or a dead sound over the radio. So that way it's like it's not too quiet or drive you crazy or something. But I think it's something about the frequency. So that's why I always talk about frequency, and they know about frequency as well too. So they put in some type of dead noise air. Like there's actually a company, we can research this, that there's actually a company that makes the music that they sell to corporate America, that they play over the radio in the buildings, so it doesn't, they say, so it doesn't sound too dead or whatever in the building, or it would drive you crazy. So instead they have like a dead sound, some type of noise, but really what it is that it's lowering your frequency. All right. Good morning, everybody. So let's get this show on the road right now. I'm going to always have our paint shows. That's always going to be at 9 a.m. Pacific time. I think it's easier for me. I don't know why. It's just that 30 minutes difference. It makes a difference between 8:30 and 9 a.m. It's a big difference. I feel like I had the whole morning today, like to really take care of the things that I needed to do. I was able to take care of some emails, some thumbnails. I was able to take care of a whole bunch of stuff. Feel like I had a whole bunch of time just by that little 30-minute gap. All right. That little 30 minutes makes a difference. So today's topic of what we're going to be talking about today, which is really going to be something that is a big deal. It's also going to be something that you implement into your life as well. It's about think bigger. All right. Why thinking small is hurting your business. It's hurting your art sales. It's hurting you. Why thinking small? We need to stop thinking small about ourselves. We need to think larger. I always tell people that you need to aim for the stars and at least you'll hit the moon. You need to think bigger, okay? So that's what we're going to be talking about today is thinking bigger. Thinking bigger, thinking larger. All right, let's get this going. Enough of this talking around. Let's get this going. Let's get this going. All right. I just wanted to make sure that all my settings were on, and they are on. Okay, we got more people that's coming in here. Cool. More people coming in. John Hunter, we got Taurus here, we got Linda here, Funding Animals. Morning, everybody. All right, let's get this going. No more playing around here. So the first painting that we're going to do our landscape. It's always a good one to warm up with. Oh, this brush looks like it was muddy. I thought I cleaned this brush. I know I cleaned the water, but look how muddy that looks. It's fine. It's fine. We can always fix that. And I'm going to dry this off anyway. So I'm going to dry this off. So that way it's just easier for me to paint the layers that I really want to paint. So I really didn't even need to do this layer, to be honest. I could have gone straight into it, but it's fine. All right, let me dry this off. So yeah, today's conversation is going to be talking about you need to think bigger when you talk about doing your art, when you think about doing your life. It's about scaling up. And I'm going to give some real secrets today, some real secrets about how to scale up your business, how to scale up your life. Some real hacks. You don't have to be a genius. You don't have to be so talented. It's all about systems in place. I always talk about that. A lot of times, the people who are winning in life, the people who figured it out, they just figured out you need to have systems. A lot of times when you meet these people are no smarter than you. Most times, these people are idiots. So the topic, the first topic is going to be that you need to have bigger goals. You need to have bigger goals. And what I mean by you need to have bigger goals is that stop having have bigger goals, but to have bigger goals, you need to focus in on the small goals. You need to focus in on the ones that you can control. And what do I mean by that? Like, instead of me focusing on thinking that I got to come to the studio and that I got to do like 50, 100 paintings, or instead of me thinking that I need to make $100,000, I'm able to make $100,000 by focusing on the small ones that I can control. How can I break it up? What does $100,000 look like? $100,000 looks like me making I'm trying to think, how much is that? $100,000. Whatever the number is, you just break it down per week. And then I think about how many days that I'm working realistically a day, or I mean, how many days that I'm working realistically a week. And then I break that small goal down. So instead of like thinking about the larger number at times, we need to reverse engineer it. You can aim high. I always tell people to aim high, but you need to reverse engineer it. So that way, you know, like daily what the small goal is that you need to do. And then I even go to the extreme where it's like, this is really what billionaires do. They go so extreme where they break everything down. They break everything down by like in the quarter. So if I know what my daily goal is, then I need to break that up into 4 quarters. That's how I operate it. So I'm going to start off slow by controlling my day of thinking of $100. Okay, let me just make $100 a day. $100 a day is a great goal to aim for because, I mean, heck, even at the end of the month, that's still between $2,500 and $3,000, right? Like what can we all do? What can we all do out here with $2,500 or $3,000 extra? We could do a lot. That's usually a car payment, or not a car payment. That's more than a car payment. That's like a mortgage plus a car payment, and that's just $100 a day. So if I'm able to make $100 a day, then I can scale that up. I could be like, okay, I made my $100 a day. What do I need to do to make $300 a day? Because if I know that it's possible for me to make the $100 a day, right? Because it is possible. I start slow that way. And once I see it, I'm able to achieve it and I'm able to hit that number. Then I'm like, okay, let me scale it up. What do I have to do 3 times that effort so I can make $300 a day? If I make $300 a day, then working 5 to 6 days a week, then you're already making your 6 figures. You're already making close to $100,000 right there. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so don't always think about the Mount Everest, because then you'll never want to climb it. It's just too big. You'll be like, well, what's the purpose? Look at that mountain. It's too big. I don't want to climb it. I don't want to have to get out of the bed to do the work. Instead, think about the smaller batches, the smaller picture. And then you're able to achieve it. A quote that I love from Arnold Schwarzenegger, he says, success is always in reps and sets, because he's a bodybuilder and that's what he's talking about his world. But it's so true, because when it made sense to me, when it clicked, it was like, it's easier, instead of going be like, hey, you got to go to the gym and you got to do 1,000 reps of bench presses. Most people aren't going to want to get out of bed for that. That's going to suck. The idea of that sucks. Who wants to do that? Like, that's just doing too much. But if you apply that same principle and you say, okay, let's break that up into reps and sets, and you're only going to be doing 5 increments, then, or if you're going to be doing 5 sets, then you can do it. So small goals equal small income. You want to increase your income, got to increase the goals. Increase your goals, but reverse engineer it to where they become smaller. Every time somebody tells me whatever their monthly goal is or whatever their 90-day goal is, 90% of the time they always come back 90 days and they always hit, like, if not that number, they hit below that number. Do you think that's by coincidence or happenstance or happenchance? No, it's not. What happens is that you put that into your frequency of what your goal was. You didn't aim high enough. I forget where I heard it from, but there was a thing where it was like most people in their dying bed, the thing that they regret is that they didn't try hard enough or they didn't ask for more, because if they then that they realize that no matter what they would have asked for in life, they could have got it and they could have done it. It's just that they didn't wish or want more. Their goal wasn't big enough. And you need to make your goals big enough. And then you create bigger outcomes, bigger incomes. Like, I know coming out the gate, if you want to stress the system, if you want to have a bigger income, start listing more. You have to list more. Can't get away with you want to paint, but you're not listing. You have to put more lottery tickets out there so you have more of a chance of success. I mean, that's just life in general. Some people just think that I'm just talking about eBay, and it's like, have you not lived life? You can't put all your eggs in one basket. I've had more situations in my life where things fell apart on me because I put all my eggs in one basket. How many of y'all can relate? Also, leave me a like in here if you haven't already. Please leave a like on the video. Let YouTube know that we're doing God's business. We're out here saving lives. But how many of you can relate to that? Where you put all your eggs in one basket. And what always happens when you put all your eggs in one basket? What happens 80 to 85% of the time in your whole life that you put all your eggs in one basket by not having more lottery tickets out there, by not having more chances? Life has a funny way of slapping you down with the possibilities that you thought. Oh, I know this is going to work out for me. I'm just going to do it this way. I'm going to play it safe. You play it so safe that you don't show up. You only show up a little bit, but I'm going to show up a little bit, but it's the focused one. I really care about those. And then what happens is you lose in the long run compared to having more eggs out there. Having more chances, giving yourself more chances, more opportunities. Or what's another thing that they always say is that have multiple forms of income. Like, we all hear these things and we know it, but yet if I talk about it on eBay or if I talk about it in business, it's kind of like a foreign concept that people have never heard before. I got to show up and I got to do more work. I got to do volume. I got to do like numbers. It only hurts you because your ego's involved and you're thinking about creating Mona Lisas in volume. And I'm not telling you to show up and do Mona Lisas in volume, especially when you're just starting off. I'm telling you to show up and be a kid and make quick art. Art that we would say is ugly. I only say it's ugly just to prove the point of understanding of what we're talking about. But I don't believe that any art is ugly because it's subjective. And the ugliest art out there always gets bought on eBay. And those are the ones that people are always surprised of. They're like, I can't believe I didn't like this painting, but it sold. Corbellic, I can't believe this painting sold. I didn't like it. My ego was involved. It sold. And then the art that I did like, the art that I spent so much time on, it's still sitting there. No one wanted it. You have to put volume out. Hey, Bretta. Hey, Rachel. Good morning or afternoon. Actually, yeah, there we go. All right, there we go. I forgot to put the overlay at the topic at the bottom, but that's fine. But yeah, you have to create bigger goals. Give yourself permission to create bigger goals. And stop telling yourself no. Stop shooting yourself down. Give yourself permission to be a superstar, because you are. But yeah, listing too little and depending on a couple of those sales to come through, and then they don't, you feel awful. I've done that so many times because my ego was involved, where I think I'm clever and I think my art is, I already know, here I'm like, collectors bought this one painting or they kept buying this one series last week. So I know they're going to love this I'm going to make a whole series for them. I'm going to create 20 of them. I'm going to create 30 of them. And then it doesn't work out. Or you create 5 Mona Lisas and not enough lottery tickets. So weak targets, they create weak action. Low goals, they keep you comfortable and they keep you in the same position. Like, why should you aim any higher? Who are you to aim any higher? I can't do it. And I'm going to tell you the real secret, what it is that sucks, is that you know that once you have bigger goals and you're going to have bigger responsibilities, you're scared to have to show up in the morning. You're scared to have to show up. People are now depending on you. People are now checking for you. It's just easier to hide away with smaller goals. I'm trying to tell you, like, the best way in life to level up, when I'm talking about have bigger goals, the best way to level up is to automatically level up yourself. Just bet on yourself. So when I talk about like buying canvases in bulk, I'm saying it because then all of a sudden you're leveling up your game from there. Like, you have no choice but to level up. You have no choice but to level up, or you'll admit to yourself in that moment. You have no choice but to level up, or to come to a realization that you're just lying and you're just kidding yourself. Like, I always tell people, burn the ships. So if you want to really level up your business, don't wait for permission to do it. Do it for yourself. Like, The best way, the fastest way for me to level up in life is to bet on myself and put my back up against the wall in a situation that I wasn't ready for at that time, but it makes me ready for it. For example, if you buy the boxes in bulk, you're going to have to say to yourself, I got to figure out a way to get rid of them. I got to figure out a way to paint on them and get them out the door within the next week. I don't want to see I don't want to see boxes of canvases sitting in the same location and it's been weeks or it's been like close to a month, because then it just proves to me it's not a business system problem, it's a me problem. And I have some internal things that's going on inside of me of why I can't get through these boxes. I'm saying that I want it. I'm saying that I want freedom. I'm saying that I want out and make money. But yet I'm reminded every single day that I wake up and I see these boxes that's still sitting there and I'm not getting rid of them. I'm being reminded that I'm the problem. A lot of times we think that business is the problem, and there's certain things where you don't see it in yourself. There's not a mirror. The box could be a situation where that's your mirror. How many days are you going to wake up in the morning and walk by these boxes to see that they're not dwindling down because you're not knocking them out with artwork and listing them? Then that's a you problem. That's not a business problem. That's not an eBay problem. To graduate in life, a lot of times you need to put yourself in situations that are uncomfortable, that you're not ready, that you feel like you're not ready for yet. And then that's how you automatically level up. You automatically level up by putting yourself in a higher position. You'd be like, well, there's no turning back now. I always make the, like, anybody who's new here, I use the fun analogy where it's like I treat eBay, Michaels, and Hobby Lobby like the cartels, right? And the cartel, Michaels, they're sending you these packages, which is the canvases. Now, a lot of times people who want to be in that industry, when I'm thinking of like movies or, these crime movies or whatever, when they want to be in the industry, usually they're like nobodies, and they spent their last dollar. Like usually in those movies or those things, they spent their last dollar. They didn't have anything. They spent their last dime because they wanted to be in the game so bad with the cartel. They spent their last dollar, their dime, on those packages because they betted on themselves. But then once the packages came, all right, this is what you asked for. Now you have no choice but to automatically level yourself up. Or another business, a business of ice sense, is for some businesses, what they do to automatically level themselves up to be a millionaire overnight is now they have millionaire bills. Like if you have employees and you have overhead and you know that people are dependent on you, and you got to pay the lights, you got a studio, you got different studios, that you got a house, you got this, your brain is going to push yourself and think of different ways to maximize your goals. You're going to find ways to come up with that money. If you knew that Michael's was a real cartel and they're asking where's the money at, you're not going to give excuses to be like, oh, I was sick, and eBay did this, and the other cartel. No, they're going to be like, we don't care about none of your excuses. What happened? Like if you were really in that, right, and the cartel was asking you, where's the money at? I guarantee you within a week, you're going to find that cartel's money because you already know they're coming after you, your family, whatever. You need to be thinking about business the same way. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Linda, for the super chat. Linda says, I made your recipe wheat paste last night. Sorry, off topic. Landscape is so good. Thank you so much. I love doing landscapes. And I'm glad that you were able to do the wheat paste. How did you find the formula? Sometimes it takes a couple times for you to figure out the proper formula for yourself, if you like it or not. The last time that I did the formula online or on the video, it was cool, but it was a tiny bit too thick. I wish I would have added a little bit more water. I like mine's a little bit more watery, and it's still fine. You can't go wrong with it. So I hope your project came out great. If you're already a part of the community, leave a post on there to show us what the finished product looks like. I bet that was awesome. Worked great. That's amazing to hear. Awesome. Also, leave a like if you haven't already. Anybody who just came in here, please leave a like on the video. Let me know that you appreciate me showing up to paint for you, that you appreciate the gems that I'm giving of success, because nobody else does this for free. And also leave a super chat if you can, even if it's $1. Or if you can't, then also join. You could join and be a member on here on the YouTube, where you get private videos and you get different discussions. You get different shorts and stuff like that. So that'd be cool if you want to do that. It really goes a long way to give some support. You'll also be rewarded for it, because God knows. That's another thing about success. Trust me, don't go through life receiving things for free. It's bad karma. Don't go through life receiving things for free. Always give back, especially if you're gaining knowledge and information. Always give back. Thank you, Rachel, for the super chat. Got 6 paintings done this morning, 8 to 15 minutes each. I'll post in the elite later. See, that's amazing to hear. That's so great to hear. Thank you for that, Rachel. Everybody's successful once you follow the plan. And the thing is this, I'm going to get sidetracked a little bit just going off of Rachel about finishing the paintings. I understand that some people, when they first start doing it, the 10 to 15 minutes with the timer, at first it's kind of like growing pains because your ego is involved. I understand it's growing pains, but it's because you also don't trust the process, and it hurts. But then you get better the more that you do it. You get better the more repetitions. It's just like anything else. And this is the only business where people are going to pay you for you to learn to get better. eBay, they're still going to be paying you for the artwork that we view as ugly. People appreciate it. So just show up, do that. You're going to get better, but you're also going to feel better about it psychologically. Like when Rachel got done doing her projects and she did it in such a short period of time before 8 a.m., she has a psychological boost higher than most people today. She's on top of the world. It gives you a higher dopamine. That's a natural dopamine. So proud of you. Let's see here. All right, let's get back to it. All right, so that's the painting right here. I'm gonna call this one quits. Let's go on to the next painting. But yeah, level yourself up, everybody. Level yourself up. Give yourself, don't wait. There is no moment. There is no moment to level yourself up. It's just if you want it or not. And then it comes to you naturally. It comes easy. You know what's difficult? What's difficult is when you half foot on, half foot off. That's what's difficult. Because then it's like dealing with the cartel, right? And you're half footing it in and half footing it off. Like, you know how difficult that would be? Like, you're putting more stress on yourself by not just leveling yourself up. Just commit already and say, I'm in the game. Once you have that mindset that you're in the game and there is no turning back, it gets so much easier. All right, there's our landscape right there. Pretty cool. It's a silhouette of a guy walking there. He's enjoying that sunset, right? It's beautiful. People love, love, love. But at the same time, what I always tell people too is that Rome wasn't built overnight, so it's okay if you start off with nothing. It's okay if you start off and you only have a few things, a few supplies. You could still flip that. You could still, on the profits that you make, you can you could still make money. Like this is the only business. This is the only business where the startup fee is almost close to minimum. But it's still a business. And no one's ever going to tell you that in a capitalist society that we're in, that business is going to be totally free to start off with, because then everybody would do it. But if you're going to invest in yourself as a business, then you do need some type of capital to start off with. But this is a business where it's pretty much for free. It's free. Look, I thought about this yesterday as another point that I'm going to start talking about when it comes to eBay. We're in one of the only businesses where the marketplace is already there with 145 million credit cards, 189 million people who are shoppers. And you don't have to create your own website. I thought about that yesterday. Like, you don't have to create your own website. You don't have to hire somebody to edit something. You don't have to hire somebody to code out your own website that nobody's going to. Because even if you created your own website, only people that you're showing it to that is going to be your family members or something like that. But people aren't going to your website. Those days is over with as well, too. Driving traffic to your website. You know how much money that would be? eBay already spent $3 billion so that way they could funnel the traffic to their site. They're already putting that money up front. They already built the website for you. Only thing you have to do is put your artwork on there, and I show you how to list it at the fastest. So you have almost close to nothing of a startup. But you still need capital to start your business. And if you need capital to start your business, it's like anything else. Work fast food, get a part-time job, get an Uber, do whatever you have to do to get a little bit of that capital so you can start your business with eBay. And then from there, you should have the motivation to keep flipping that up. That's how it works. But it's not going to be like, oh, well, I'm totally homeless on the street. How can I start eBay? Nothing in life works that way. There's no free lunch in America. All right. You still have to work to work. All right. On this one, we're going to do an eyeball. All right. So now we're going to work on an eyeball right here, but this topic that we're going to be talking about now is scared money makes no money. This is something that I'm big on too. I love these topics that we talk about and that we really get into, because these things are things that I'm always going to be talking about. These are things that I will always hammer down and reiterate, because these are the business mindset. These are the business structure principles of the Corbellic blueprint. In like a year or so, maybe by the end of this year, I'm going to write a book. Some business Corbellic fundamentals. Scared money makes no money. If you're scared, go to church. All right, as they say. Scared money makes no money. Like most people, they handle business like it's your business and you're handling it like you're scared. And if you're scared, then the universe can smell it on you and they're not going to give you any money. Why would I give money to somebody who never handled money before? Why would I give money to somebody or want to do business with somebody who's always talking about that they're broke, that they're depressed, that they're sad, that they're a victim? Oh, poor me, negative me, half glass empty me. Scared money makes no money. The universe can smell it on you when you walk in the room. I always tell people, pretend that you've been here before. Meaning that if you never had $1 million before, once you get $1 million, act like you had it before. That's how you manifest it. You need to be nonchalant of that. You're good with it. You're good without it. Pretend that you've been here before. If there's a restaurant that you've never been into, if there's a fancy room that you've never been in before, if there's an event, don't act like you've never been here before. Pretend that you've been here before, okay? Because scared money makes no money. Nobody wants to do business with people who are half glass empty. They can smell it on you. Like, why are you keep talking about it? Scared pricing, like even how you handle negotiations or how you handle some of your pricings scares people away. It attracts weak results. That's why I talk about in some of your pricing, you got to have in your buy it now store some Rolex prices. And when I'm talking about Rolex prices, sometimes people get confused where they think if I'm saying Rolex prices that you need to have the items be $400, $500. No, when I'm saying Rolex prices, I'm saying that you need to have items in there in your store that are $1,000, $3,000. If you go to my store, I got items in there that's $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. You need to have Rolex prices so people understand that you have a standard of who you are as an artist. Like, yes, we make money off of being consistent with the auctions, but the auctions also work hand in hand. And then the auctions work well too when people have an idea that you have a Rolex pricing into your buy it now store. You think people aren't looking into your buy it now store to see where your standard is at? Don't have your highest standard be at no $400, $500. Now that's cool pricing to get rid of stuff when they're doing the promos, how we run those, right? Because that's more realistic. But also have the stuff on there that's not too realistic, where it's like the gallery stuff that you might have. Or even if it's not gallery stuff, there would be pieces that I would do for fun real quick, where it would be like an 8x9 and there would be nothing on it at all. Like I splatter paint, it would be nothing at all. But just to prove a point to the market, I would label it on eBay for $1,000 because that's a Rolex price of what I think my scared money makes no money. You're getting a Corbellic. It doesn't matter what it is. I have the confidence of that. I can label all of my videos if I want to. This is a $1,000 painting because scared money makes no money. It is a $1,000 painting. You're lucky that you even get it for $1,000. I could take it to Melrose or any of the galleries that I dealt with and it'll sell for $5,000. It might be a couple months or it might be a month, but it will eventually sell. Scared money makes no money. But if you're over here always like, if you're in a negotiation or if you're in your pricing, oh, well, maybe, I don't know. What do you think? I could take 50 for it. Is that okay? Then you're not going to make no money. Why should somebody want to give you any money? I talk about this even with business. In business, why would anybody want to be in business with somebody where it looks like you never handled money before? Or you're not even feeling confident about yourself to handle the business. A lot of times business isn't even about who's the smartest. It's about more like who has a sharper mindset, a more confident mindset to do the job. Is your mindset weak? Like, okay, fine, you're broke and you're depressed right now, but are you in a mindset type of person where that's forever for you? Or is that forever for you? Like broke is a mindset. Broke is not a financial thing. Because are you broke forever? No, you're not. You might just be down bad right now, but that's not forever unless you put it in your mind that's forever. But if you carry that all along with you, then that is going to be forever and people can smell it on you. People don't want to deal with that. You're like, oh, scared money makes no money. Why would I do business with you and give you a paycheck or something? You're going to mess the money up. Like you have to have in your buy it now store, you need to have prices in there that are higher up. Don't underprice everything. Underpricing comes from small thinking. because then you're going to kick yourself in the foot because you're a great artist. You're a phenomenal person. You are naturally a creator, right? And you're thinking small of yourself at times when people go, I didn't know my art was going to sell. I didn't know that that painting that I didn't like was going to sell. I'm so surprised that someone bought it, because you're thinking small of yourself for one. But then when it does sell, you're kicking yourself because that person, they probably would want to get they probably would want to buy a commission from you, right? So let's just say they want to reach out to you and they want to buy a commission, but you're so insecure with your pricing on some of the stuff, or at least having a few Rolexes in there of $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. You're going to quote them a job that you're not going to want to do. I mean, you're going to do it and you're going to quote them something, right? But like, okay, say for example, you don't have any Rolexes in your store of $1,000, $5,000, right? And then someone comes along for a commission and they want to buy something that's a 24 by 36 or a 36 by 36 or a 48 by 36. And they're telling you the kind of the idea of what it is, or they're telling you a reference of something that you've painted before and they want something similar to that. You know that you would want a $3,000 paycheck, right? Like, that feels good. You'll feel good about the project. But now you have to quote them $500 just because in your art store you didn't believe in yourself and you priced everything at a Rolex of $500. That doesn't feel good. I don't want to quote you no $500 to do no commission thing. But then at the same point, how can I convince you to pay me more than the $500 is if you're looking at my store and the buy it nows are at an average $500, $700 for the Rolexes. Nah, I need to have the higher ones on there so it gives me a negotiation bargaining chip. See, I'm giving out game right now. I'm giving out some free elite game. This is stuff that people pay me for, all right? I'm giving out free game right now. Leave a like on this video right now for that. Leave a like on here. Leave a like in here. Matter of fact, drop me some super chats. Drop me another super chat on there for that game that I'm giving out right there. That was some super game that I just gave you right there. That's some super duper elite game. We don't need to be acting grateful for crumbs. Because then what happens is you get in a habit of that. And then I'm telling you, it's not going to feel good. It's not going to feel good at all when you get the commission that comes by, or somebody who wants to do business with you, and you got to undercut yourself. And the only reason that you undercut yourself, a lot of times that people undercut themselves in business, is because you're in a situation where you're broke. And you need the money right now because there's a bill that you have to pay. But I'm telling you, the best negotiators are people who are willing to walk away from the table even if you don't have any money, because scared money makes no money. Can't be scared. The person who's scared, they lose. And you're going to be in a situation where you're negotiating or you have a commission and you're going to accept the project, but I'm telling you, in your bones, you're not going to feel good all the way about it because you're not getting paid your worth. You're being grateful for crumbs. It's not going to feel good. I've been in situations like that before where I sold myself cheap, and it's only because I didn't have Rolex prices or I didn't understand. Until I think I've had a mentor who probably schooled me on the game of it, like, because what you're doing, you're not, these people aren't friends. What you're doing, you're conditioning these people to undercut you. And then what happens is, do you think in the future that same collector, that when they come back to you, you think you're going to be able to have a bargaining chip to say to them, oh, on the second project, actually, for that same size of something else that you want to do, now it's $5,000. Because then they're going to feel like, all right, now you're trying to price gouge me. And they're not going to feel comfortable about that. And then you lost money completely and you lost relationship because they feel like you're not going to feel good about it. Always start high because you're going to start low. The more that we have relationships with each other, the more that I'm going to give you a better discount, the more art that you're building. But I don't want to start off where it's like we're starting off at $500. Believe in yourself. I always start the negotiation, especially with a new person. I always start it high. That way, when we do future business in the future, or more than likely, you're going to want to negotiate out of it. You're going to try to negotiate a different price. Most times people are going to be like, actually, I had this price in mind. They're going to say stuff like that. Actually, I had this price in mind. Hey, Lane. They're always going to say something like that. Even if they were willing to actually pay, or they do have the money to pay whatever you were requesting, but at least you could start from there. So I'll always start high, and then it gives us a base point of where to go. Then they can say, oh man, I really wanted that. Really what I had in mind is that I wanted to pay this. And then usually what I'll go is say in a situation like that, I'll go, okay, well, to build up our relationship, I'll do that as long as you buy an additional painting from me and, either a matching pair or something like that, then I have no problem to let go of that painting like that at that price, because I have another collector here locally who was really looking into that one. So it's just funny. It's actually funny timing that you called me and that you wanted, something like that. Or if it's something, a commission and it's custom, you'd be like, well, it's actually funny timing. I recently stopped doing commissions. You say stuff like that is scarcity. See, I'm just giving up free game right there too. I'm giving out a bunch of free game today. But yeah, the fear is going to make people build tiny revenue ceilings. That's why I'm saying it's going to like create a ceiling for you that you're not going to like. And you're the one who built yourself in it. There's collectors out there who I had to stop doing business with because I knew that I already created this revenue ceiling with them, and it's not their fault. It's just that I was an amateur on going about the sale and going about the because they would reach out to me and want to get something, but I feel like I was devaluing myself, and when I feel like that, I don't feel good about the sale. And it's not even about not feeling good about the sale. I just don't feel good about the commission. Commissions by themselves are already a psychological undertaking. So both parties have to feel good about it, but especially the artist. And it's hard sometimes because if you undercut yourself and you're an artist and what we go through and that you got like certain bills, like you already know, like sometimes when you get a commission, right, you're already budgeting in your mind to be like what it could pay for. Like, man, all right, I pray that this contract goes through, they pay it, and you already think of like things like certain bills that it could go towards, right? Like, it would like really help you out that day there's certain things that you got to pay for. We all know what I'm talking about. We all been there. And when you cut yourself short, say for example, the $500 thing again, because you didn't have the Rolexes in your store of the pricing of the negotiation, you start feeling bad. You start questioning, damn, they accepted that contract a little too easy. Like you start thinking, what if I could go back in time just 5 minutes ago, and if I actually told them it was $2,000, would they have paid it? I guess we'll never know. Now you got to do the project for $500. Leave me a comment if this makes sense to you. Or maybe you're just not that part in the game yet. If you're not that deep in the game, I'm really dropping some serious art business stuff right now on you. And then you're like, you'll just never know. But then you're like, okay, I'm getting paid $500 for this contract, this assignment. But what if I would have asked for 2,000 and they would have accepted it? Then you start thinking of the certain bills that it could have paid for. Oh man, what if it would have did that? I would have been able to pay for this month. I would have been able to pay for the daycare. Oh man, I had this one bill that I've been meaning to take care of. I would have been able to take care of that. Dang, how come I didn't ask for that? Why did I sell myself short? Because scared money makes no money. You were over there scared. You was over there scared of losing a sale so bad. You're scared to ask for the money because you're scared to be in business. You're scared. Scared money makes no money. You're scared to be in business. You say that you want to be in business, but you're scared to be in business because you're scared to ask for the amount of what you feel like you're worth. Like I say, don't take this stuff personal. I'm only talking to myself in the past. That's how I always say, right? I'm only talking to myself in the past. I'm talking to my previous self because I've done this so many times. To this day, it irks me about certain art sales that I've had with collectors and they took advantage of me and they smiled in my face and acted like they were my friends. But then when I wanted a little bit more money or a little bit more, like after I put in the work, like I was putting in the work on Instagram, like putting in hundreds of more, getting super much, like way better in my art and everything, and I just asked for a little bit more, or even the worst is like being paid on time. And I'm scared money at the time. This is before eBay. It's like scared money for me. I wanted to sell so bad where they could smell it on me and they didn't even pay me on time. So always easier to negotiate from a higher point. Always start high, but a lot of times people don't want to because they're scared to lose the sale. It's okay. Be willing to lose the sale because it's better to lose the sale or to go from there, or at least I'm gonna tell you, it's better to go higher and to lose the sale than in the gain and to keep your respect than to lose it and to feel like doing a project that you don't want to. But also, what's going to happen is they're going to either make you an offer if they really want to work with you and it's sincere, or you can know where they're at with their dollar amount. And that's a great thing because you can work with them. That's fine. Or B, they'll know where you're at and they will come back to you. Or it's up to you as well too to keep their contact, and you can reach out to them a couple weeks, maybe a month later, small talk, nothing about the sale. Touch base with them about something else. And that's just something I had to learn. Scared money makes no money. Even I'm not a gambler, right? But it even works that way with gamblers. Gamblers always lose money, or people who are addicted to gambling, right? They lose money because they're scared of losing the money. But then the ones who make the money, usually the ones who are successful in gambling, they're already people who have money. They're already people who are rich, or they're already people who they have it, or they call it beginner's luck because their frequency is not into it. The desperation is not. The universe isn't reacting to them the same way as it would react to you. Because scared money makes no money. So it's like, whatever. That's why they always say, I always go back to where they always say, the rich gets richer. I don't understand. The rich get richer because they understand a lot of different concepts that you don't. And they're on a different frequency than you. Scared money makes no money. All right. There's our eye, the all-seeing eye. All right, look at that. All-seeing eye. What do you think? It's an eye. It's an eye. On to the next. All right, let's go on to the next painting. All right, I'm gonna knock out an expressionism dog real quick, a really fast one. Just give you a little bit of a quick homework assignment. Something of how you could approach paintings, how I like to approach paintings when I'm really on a time clock or when I'm really like loosening it up and working it. We can work this together. I'll show you. I'll show you how I like to work different projects. We'll have fun with it. All right. On to the next topic. Now, for this topic, we're going to be talking about how scarcity mindset creates fear. And it's so true. Scarcity mindset creates fear. It's kind of similar to the last subject, but this one is more like lacking. And you'll always be in this everlasting loop. That's why they always talk about the rich get rich and the poor gets poor. It's because two different frequencies. The rich is in a mindset of abundance, so it keeps coming to them because they're in that mindset and their everlasting loop of it. They teach this to their children. The poor stay poor because they're always in a mindset of scarcity and holding on to the crumbs, holding on to it like it's never going to come to us. So the universe then knows that you're broke and then they keep giving you the crumbs. You're in a scarcity mindset, and that way you stay in the loop. It's the same way how eBay works. It's the same thing how business works. When people are in a certain loop, some people will see, man, there's other members who are successful, and maybe they only have to do 5, 6, 7 paintings, and they're making $20,000. And then you have some who are doing more than that, and then they're in a different because it's a mindset of where you're at in scarcity. And then I even show people when I do personal chats or when I do personal meetings, I show them on their charts how it works on the algorithm and how eBay will keep them at a certain frequency, at a certain number, and they can see it on their day-to-days. And it just works that way because scarcity creates scarcity mindset creates fear. Like most artists think like a hobbyist and not like an operator, not like a business. They're scared to do business. All right, let's knock this out quick. Let me show you. Let me show you how I would how I'm gonna operate this painting. Okay, this is how I do these quick. Let's see here. Now you can see I didn't work a background this time. I'm just gonna do it straight up. Very similar to how Steve Keen does his art. If you watched that video from yesterday, just very quick. I always talk about like the first things to do is to get the color down as quick as possible with the large brush stroke. And then if you want to do touch-ups later on or smaller paint brushes or anything later, then you can do that later on. But just get the body of things done first, and then it all comes together. It always comes together because God intended it for it to come together. I'm not an artist. I don't know what I'm doing. I just come up here and then it's weird. It's like presto, magical presto. Don't understand why that works. But I'm just showing you how quick we work this so you can understand a lot of my artwork, how I do it. And that way you're working off the happy mistakes by doing cool stuff that looks different. But yeah, let's see here. The scarcity mindset creates fear, like waiting on inspiration. That's a trap. There is no such thing. It's overrated. I don't know anything about that. I used to like those are just nice poet type of words and stuff to say to kids. Inspiration, motivation, that's like a privilege. That's a privilege. That's a fairy tale. We need to get that stuff out of here. We need to stop telling people those type of words, really. I don't even like it now that I like in business, now that I'm thinking of it. I don't like to hear inspiration, motivation. Like, I don't know. I guess there's nothing wrong with it because I could be inspired by like Steve Keen's or other people's stuff type of stuff, but I don't need it, and neither do you. You shouldn't need it. You have to just work. The action is first. Picasso always said the action is worst is first. You show up and then the motivation finds you. The motivation finds you, the inspiration finds you through the actions of your work. All right, let's see if we have any chats in here to read off. All right, no super chats. Back to it. So I don't believe in the I believe you got to get to work. Waiting for inspiration, unbelievable. What a privilege. What a privilege to be waiting around to feel inspired to go to work. Like, what is that? Either you want to work or you don't. Either you want the money or you don't. It doesn't matter how you feel in the morning time as long as you get up and you get to work. Like that's some first world problem type stuff. Like anytime that I hear people talk about All right, I'm gonna say something that's controversial. Anytime that I hear people talk about like I need inspiration or I'm depressed and sad, that's first world American problems. Like if you're in a different country and you're in the third world or whatever, or if you talk to our grandparents from the 30s or the 40s, right? And you talk about depressed. Oh, I'm depressed to do my work. They're gonna be like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, who has time? That's a privilege to even think about that. I gotta get to work. I don't have the privilege to be depressed. I don't have the privilege to wait for inspiration. What is that? I gotta get to work. I got bills. You think the bank cares or my bills care how I'm feeling if I'm depressed? If I need motivation? But hold on, bank. I'll pay you once I find my inspiration. Let me pay you. Let me pay you with my motivation, bank. You don't understand. I need to watch. Hold on, bank. I'll pay the loan off after I watch a few more videos on YouTube to be inspired. Don't you understand? I'm not feeling good today. I got a tummy ache. I'm sad. That's such a privilege. That's so Americanized. The rest of the world is dying to come here. And we're talking about we need inspiration to work. And they're like, I just want to have the chance to work. How about that? I just want an opportunity to work. You know how many people I hear from who are on my channel and they come from other countries or they're in like South Africa or India or whatever, and they're like, y'all are so lucky. Like, I would love the opportunity to just work. You mean to tell me that you got people over there selling art and they're starting off and they're getting collectors, they're earning their own collectors, they're starting off, they're selling, and people are complaining about making a little bit of profit or whatever that their selling point is? Like, you got people complaining. Like, I would just love the opportunity to do it. Here, let me dry this off so I can go into some oil pastel a little bit. Or there's no system, there's no scheduling, there's no numbers. People treating business like a mood. That's like that's also like the new generation, Gen Z, where it's like treating work like a mood, treating business like a mood. Well, I don't feel like it. Feelings and emotions into working, it's two different things. Brittany is so right. She says back then, if you would have talked about you need inspiration or you're depressed to work or any of that stuff, she said that your family would have thrown you into a mental institution and kept it moving. Exactly. Like, this is all new age stuff. I'm depressed, but I got a $2,000 cell phone. I drink $10 macchiatos every day. Oh, it's so unfair. It's so unfair. I gotta work. What are you talking about? All right, so in a situation like this, right? So we just laid down some colors real quick. So what I like to do is I like to go in here and I like to just be real abstract with some oil pastels, right? Like, this is how I like to work it. Hold on. And there's no rhyme or reason. I'm just oil pastel. It doesn't even matter what the color is. Like I choose any random thing. So people love this because it's so different. People see dogs all the time, but they're not going to see this version of your dog because you don't even know what this version of your dog is. That's kind of like if you got a job interview. Why do you want this job? So I don't become homeless. Well, you're not getting this job. That's not a good enough answer. You're not getting this job. We need to hear that you're going to bow down to us and that you need this job, that you want to worship it. We need to hear that this is a place that you always dreamed about, that you care so much about corrugated boxes. Next. What? Like I live in the real world and so do you. What are we talking about here? That's like the same concept of like how I always talked about this community, right? I never come off in the community to be like, hey everybody, I want to show you how to paint so you can feel good about yourself. And the painting process feels so glorious. Isn't it nice to paint? Like I live in the real world. I'm talking to the 95% to the 98% of everybody out here. We need money, all right? We're here to pay the bills. Like we're not here to be making art for free because it feels good. It feels nice. What are we talking about here? Why are you talking to me like this? Like I got time to waste. We already wasted so much time. Treating business like a mood. Hobby mindset avoids pressure. So it's like when people have the scarcity mindset to treat it like a real business, they're like, oh, good. I could pretend that I'm a business. I could pretend that I'm showing up. That's why other people enjoy doing art the way that they do, and they want to tell you to be a traditional artist, because those are the type of people that get to paint a little bit of the painting. All right, I did a little bit. Now let me go my 9-to-5 job and do my real job. And then when I get off of work, okay, let me go back to doing the painting. It's kind of like those people who who's those people from the movies where they have a hobby where they do like the little toy characters? You ever see where they have like in the movies where it's like somebody's hobby, like they got the magnifying on their eye, and then they're doing the little toy soldiers, like they're doing the reenactments of the Civil War thing, and they plant the little what are those called? Like the little characters, you know what I mean? Like the reenactments things where it's like the whole field, like they got a whole table somewhere in their house, right? Would have like, oh, that's the Gettysburg, and that's the, or it's like something like that where that's a hobby. That's what they think that you're supposed to be creating. Like you're just doing it for free like that, and then you're supposed to create each painting like that where it's just like, okay, I finished some of my painting today, honey. In 3 more weeks, the whole thing will be done. Yeah. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. They want you to be like that. So it's a hobby. Scarcity mindset is where you're avoiding the pressure. You're avoiding the pressure where you have to show up. You know how brave it is for all of y'all who are in here or who are part of the elite community? If you're not part of the elite community, then click the link. It's in the chat. It's pinned to the top, so you can learn how you can make these cells yourself, so you can learn how you can do this. Everything is built out for you. You don't have to be tech savvy. You could just copy, paste, have everything there for you. All the SEOs also have a community there to support you along the way. But you know how brave it is for you guys who are part of the elite community of what you do? Because you're actually really showing up. You're actually doing the work. Like you're not pretending behind it. Like you have the pressure. You know how much pressure that is? Anybody else wouldn't do it. Because really the deep down secret is that they would hate to have the pressure of what you're being able to control. Like there's pressures that you're being able to control. Either you know it or you don't know it, but anybody else wouldn't be able to do what we do, and we're able to make it look easy because we have systems in place. So most people from the elite community, they always go, wow, I never painted this many paintings before, I never did this much art before, I never thought that I was going to be able to do it. Anybody else wouldn't ever be able to do it because they wouldn't ever be able to do the pressure, they would fold under it. But also what some people are able to do is, from the elite community, they're able to even go back if they want to. If they get invited from their old galleries or old shows, the galleries are always like really putting them on a higher pedestal because they're like, wow, you're prolific now. You have all this artwork. How did you create all this artwork in such a short period of time? What's going on with you? Like when I met you before and you were in the gallery, you were doing the hobby stuff one at a time. But now all of a sudden, a few months later, you're a different artist now. Like, how did you create all this body of work to show up at the gallery or whatever, right? Like real growth needs a structure. If you haven't had a chance to watch the new reaction video that I just released yesterday, where it's an artist, Steve Keen, and you can see the structure of what he has in place, the systems and what he has in place. And you could just see where his ego, no ego evolved, but he's able to make the money by having a system and a structure in place for his business. And there's no fear in it. Let me know if that makes sense in the comments. If not, then we can reiterate on that. Until you get it, until you understand me, you understand? I love doing paintings like this because there is no right or wrong. Like, it just is what it is. And you'll never know what it is either. You'll never, you know, people love these because it's like you can't predict it. Some people might think oh, they're so genius in what they're doing, but really you're just working fast. The happy mistakes and the genius lies into the mistakes that you're making when you're working fast. And you can only find, a lot of times when I talk about working fast, it's like working fast is to find the genius in the work. To make the best decisions is by working fast. It's not always about the speed as well with the ego and a lot of different things. It's like working fast is like it fixes so many different problems. all at once. Fixes so many problems all at once. All right, I think that's about it. Just leave that backdrop halfway. That's fine with me. Boom. There we go right there. Look at our cute dog. Now you see how I was able to work that? So this is how I work this is how I work neo-expressionism abstract pieces, right? Where it looks like we had a plan, but we don't have a plan, and it just comes together. We kind of like just go into it raw from the beginning with the large paintbrush, and then we kind of tighten it up if we want, right? But you could do these really quick. Like really, I used to time myself and really push myself to do like this type of painting in 5 minutes. I used to do these type of paintings in 5 to 7 minutes. That's how I knock them out. So that way I'm thinking to myself, in an hour, I should have 9 to 10 canvases. All right. So think about that. If you could do that like an hour, like think about how much work that you could get done. So this is how I used to work it. Or what I used to do is like I used to do like a Steve King kind of idea where I would draw these out using like just a quick image from the proportions of it from the projector really quick, right? Like I would draw them out in just like less than a minute, like just quick things. Then I would line them all up on my wall, and then I would go in like how Steve King does it, and then I would just go in with the colors. But I just love working the projector. It's just my comfort zone, and especially how I work now. Like when I was in heavy production mode, it's just better that way. So that way I have more lottery tickets and I'm making more money. But now I just like working with the pace of the projector like that. So. All right, on to the next painting. On to the next. What do we have? Always have so many different references. What to choose from? What to choose from? I'm going to work this one the same way how we worked the last one. But I'm going to do a little bit of the background first. This one's going to be a penguin. So let's make this into a neo-expressionism penguin. Boom. All right. Now we're on to the penguin. Now, on this topic, we're going to be talking about people scared to act like a business. Playing it safe. Keep sales stuck. Playing it safe will keep you stuck. People scared to act like a business. And I know because I had this problem for years. I was in the foot of like half footing of I'm an artist compared to being like I'm a business and I need to think about how would like I need to put myself in the shoes to be like, okay, if I was a high running business, performing business, how would they operate my business? What would they do? How would they treat it? How would they operate it? It's okay to have my standards. Or it's okay to run it like parts of a factory. What would I do to run certain parts like a factory? What parts would I automate? What parts would I delegate to an assistant? packaging, shipping. There was a point where I'm delegating I had so many listings to get over because I had like a bunch of paper. I had a bunch of paper art. And I knew I needed to get it up because I needed to feed the algorithm heavy numbers to boost me up on the front pages. So at the time, I'm talking about I had like thousands of paper but I had to fix the titles. There were certain things I had to fix in it. So you know what I did? Is I got online and I ordered me a VA, which is a virtual assistant. And you could get those fairly cheap from like Pakistan or something like that. And you could show them how to do. Now they didn't list it from my eBay store. They listed it from there was an app I was using. I don't think it was Flip. It could be Flip, but I think it was something else. I don't know. But I hired a VA to do the grunt work that I don't want to do. One of my mentors told me, whatever work that you feel like is beneath you, or it's not the money maker, or it's not part of the business, it doesn't push the business because you're the business, you're the CEO, then you need to delegate that on to someone else. You need to get yourself in a position to do that. Because as long as you keep doing these certain tasks that are like beneath you and doesn't push the money, then you're never going to scale your business. And like we talked about on the first rule, to scale your business without asking for permission to scale your business is to do it yourself by doing certain business evolutions, okay? Evolving your business. So I would hire a VA, a virtual assistant, so he could list my paper drawings, the different things that I wanted him to do. Like he changed the titles. So a lot of it, I think, for example, when I would go back in and I had to update, I updated them where they were in the Frame It app. Because a lot of them weren't in the Frame It. So the SEO wasn't capturing it right, where the mock-up wasn't right. All right, this is going to be a graffiti penguin. And once I did that, I would save it into, like, you see how sloppy I'm doing it? Like, of course I'm coloring outside the lines on purpose because I can still see where the lines are at, where it's supposed to be, but I'm doing it for the look of the sloppiness. It's the confidence when buyers buy it. Like, there's a meaning. You must have done that for a reason. They know that you know how to draw in between the lines if you want to. You're an artist. They know you know how to do it, but there's a reason why you also had the confidence of why you did it. And that's important too, a lot of times with your paintings, is the looseness of what you could be and the minimalism of doing it quick. It's important to do that in some of your paintings. Everything doesn't always have to be so literal. Sometimes I see your artwork and it's so beautiful, but it's like, it's beautiful, where it's like, it's so literal. And a lot of times people will pay more money for items that just aren't literal. Like, don't be so serious all the time. It's boring. Like, I don't want to call you boring, but be fun, be spontaneous. They already know you could do the serious stuff if you want to, but it's kind of like the polar bear hairs. Sometimes I see artists do the polar bear hairs, and it's like, that's beautiful. Be spontaneous. What does it look like in your idea if you were a kid and you were going to take the same painting, do it in 5 minutes with a stick figure drawing of the hands? What does that look like? Are you able to do that? Are you brave enough to do that? Are you brave enough to just do that with your art and say whatever? Do that and see what comes out of it. You might surprise yourself. But yeah, playing it safe, like just like we were talking about playing it safe, right? Playing it safe with safe art, safe titles, safe offers, safe production value, safe like Scared money makes no money. The day that I started to make money is the day that I said I have nothing else left to lose because I'm already losing by trying to control everything. I'm trying to be pretty. I'm trying to be sophisticated. I need to just do art fast because at the end of the day, I said to myself, nobody cares about me but me. And no matter what these, like, obviously the collectors aren't biting because it's just pretty, pretty stuff. I need to go outside of it. Once I went outside of it, where it's like, once you hit rock bottom, you have nothing to lose. Like safe choices, they create invisible businesses. Love him or hate him, Michel Basquiat, he knew how to draw as an adult, like serious art. Like he knew how to do um serious drawings, and he knew how to really sketch and but the skill is letting go and still drawing like a child, because anybody can get that. I'm more interested in I'm more interested in the ugly and the raw, and most people are too when it comes to 2026. Give us something different. But yeah, so I would hire VAs to do do those listings. So while I'm working, they would do that for me. They would save it into the draft for me. I would save whatever the images were when they were mocked up from the frames that I would put them in, and then I would save them into a folder into a Google Drive, and then I would send it over to them. And I don't know how they did it, but they would do it so quick. They would do it quicker than me. I didn't want to go through do a thousand new listings. And the only thing I had to do was just they were saved in the draft bank. So every single day I would have it on the schedule of when I wanted it to be released, either to the auction or to the buy it now. And it gives me a psychological advantage because I'm not painting for today. I'm painting for next week or next month at that time. Like that's how much ahead of schedule I was. And then when you're able to create like that, it gives you a psychological advantage where you could just create whatever you want. It's just free money at that point. The scarcity mindset also comes from you. The thing that gave me anxiety is if I only had a certain number of canvases in my studio, because I know that I'm going broke, and I know that my mindset is going to be broke too. Because it's like, then I'm thinking, oh, I need to make those canvases work. I need for all of those to be Mona Lisas. Instead of being like, whatever happens, happens. Like maybe they're all ugly, but if I only have a few canvases in the studio, no, I can't make those ugly. I got to study hard. I got to think hard. Now I'm trying to be clever and think about what would sell good in my mind or what did sell good in the past. And I need to make those paintings so that way it's worth it. And compared to being like throwing it to the market. If you got so many different boxes, you're not going to be thinking like that. You're going to be just creating. And then you're going to be more free in your mind. You're going to be able to make more money. Let me know if this makes sense to you or if it doesn't. Ooh-wee. Just got some breaking news. Mm-mm-mm. Let's go. So now I'm gonna turn the lights on real quick, right? And then what I'm gonna do is take out my crown pastel. It's not pastel, it's more like a crown, but it's a fancy crown. It's Caranchi. I hope I said that right. Get it from Blick's art store. A lot of times I'll say to myself when I do stuff like this, I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. I'll do what I want. Who's gonna tell me like it's ugly or whatever? It's gonna sell. I don't care. I'll let them figure it out. Why am I'm not figuring out nothing. The best way for you to sell art at times too, you need to really have a passion of being like, who cares? You need to start saying that to yourself when you're painting. I don't care. Treat it like a joke. Like, I don't care. I'm going to do this one funny thing, and I think it's going to be funny for me to just do it this way. The penguin does have attitude, huh? He's got such attitude. Let's make it poppy. Let's put some Roman numerals on him just because I can. I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't care. I'm a child having fun. You treat yourself serious. You treat it serious for both of us. You take over on that. Boom. Or something like that, right? I don't know what I'm doing. That's so cool. I just have fun. If you're not having fun, then what's the point? Let's do a little bit of snowflakes or something. Right. Something like that. That's so cool. There you go. I'm done with this painting. Let me put my signature on it. There's our penguin, right? Something different. I don't know. I like to throw different things out there, throw it to the wind. Someone's going to capture it. It's going to mean something to somebody. It's going to capture an eye to be like, that's so different. You just want to have so much different random variety of stuff out there. It's just so fun to have different variety of stuff out there. You're going to have so many different variety of things out there once you give yourself permission to have fun, that you're even going to forget about some of the paintings that you've done. You're going to forget that you've done them because you're just having fun. The only time that you ever remember paintings that you do is when your memory is so locked in on it. My memory is not locked in on any of these paintings. I'm having fun. I'm doing whatever. On to the next. That's the mindset. All right. Now we're going to do an eagle because I love doing eagles. Let's do this one quick too. I think I'm going to do two more and then that'll be it. Right? Let me zoom in on this one. Get our eagle right. Boom. Oh, I love it. He's looking mean. He's going to be a mean flying machine. All right, let's do this. I'm going to do a light color in the background here. There's really no right or wrong when it comes to this. I might have to lay down a little bit more white on my palette. You can see my white is kind of dried up there. But let's just lay this down. Also tonight, I'm having another live stream. It's going to be really cool. It's going to be fun. It's going to be where it's going to be a desk live stream where it's going to be more of a talk show, right? I'm going to have on there where I'm going to have some other reaction videos to some clips, artists. I'm also going to do a spotlight of artists that's from the elite community, either some winners on there who are either having a great day, a great week, or also I'm going to be sharing artwork from the elite community of I'll pick one random person that shares their link, shares their artwork, so I can also highlight their store, go over some of their artwork. We can look at it together. Then I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna give some business advice of whatever the tonight is. It's breaking down your first $1,000. All right, so that's gonna be really cool tonight. Be there. It's gonna be at 6 p.m. That's Pacific time, avocado time. So it gives people enough chance to get off of work, relax, decompress, and have time to tune in for the show. So don't miss that. We're going to have a good time. Crack some jokes on there, look at some videos, talk business, more mindset, have a chance to talk more with you. So I don't have to focus on the painting part, but also have different segments in there. That's what it's all about. If you haven't already, please leave a like on the video. Leave me a super chat if there's something you want me to read for you or ask a question. Let YouTube know that we're doing God's business out here and we're saving lives. So that's what it's all about. That's really what I'm telling you. That's worth more than money to me right now is helping people make money who haven't made money in art before, or helping people out of a situation. I receive it every single day where I hear from people how they're able to sell art now, or I read those. You have no idea. So I appreciate that. It's all about helping people. Like I said years ago, when I came up with this concept of this community, I said to God, what's the point of money and me getting money if I'm not helping other people get money? That's not fun. Like, what's the point of me getting money if I can't help other people get money? I don't want it to just be me getting money. That's so boring and it's so selfish. And God has rewarded me. I mean, he always has, but even more so, being able to help people. It's the best feeling ever. That way you can break free from whatever situation that you're in. Anyone can do this. I didn't go to art school. I didn't go to art school. I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm just going in here with the 1-inch brush as fast as I can, right? Just that way I can get our colors down pat. And it's fine. But yeah, on this topic, we're going to be talking about stop thinking small. I know that's kind of the concept of this whole video, but that's what we're talking about. And this one is really going to gear into you need to stop thinking small. We have to stop thinking small. Small thinking equals small income. Like instead of listing, you're tweaking, or you're trying to figure this out. You're trying to be perfect. It's like paralysis by analysis. Here, let me add more white. Let me add more white in here because we're gonna need more white in here with the bird. I'm telling you. Paralysis by analysis. You're tweaking everything, you're fixing everything. You want everything perfect. You know, someone reminded me with a great quote this morning, and it said, good is the enemy of great. So true. You're so focused on being great. Or no, did I say that wrong? Hold on. Great. Great. Great is the enemy of good. You could consistently be good, right? But you're so concerned with being great all the time. And great only happens through mistakes sometimes, happy mistakes, by volume, by you showing up. When they say consistency, what they mean is that you're striking it so many times that you have no choice, but the greatness comes from that. The greatness is the whole body of you being prolific. And then the greatness comes. It's not because most times with greatness, it's not because you intended it for whatever that is to be great at that moment. It's by you showing up. You're over there trying to perfect everything. So you're thinking small instead of creating the volume in your life. Tweaking things all the time and trying to perfect everything and try to have everything right. Don't try to have everything right. You don't have to have everything right for eBay. Just get started. The ones who are successful are the ones who just finally is like, you know what? I finally just joined the elite community. And then all of a sudden they're making sales. And then they're like, I shouldn't have waited. How do I know this? Because that was me. It took me, in order for me to really start selling on eBay, it took me 2 years of dabbling around with eBay. And I never, and if it wasn't for just me taking the chance and stop thinking small, I never would have thought it would have never worked for me. Because I would have always been like, well, I'm just waiting for this, I'm waiting for that. I used to think that I needed $1,000 to start painting. I need to invest in my painting. I need to invest. I used to think that I needed so many things in order for me to start doing it. Well, one day, it was always one day. And when I look back on it now, I mean, it seems like yesterday, but I understand that it's like 10, 11 years ago. Um, it's just such a weird thing how your mind will play tricks on you about the small things. And it's like, what was holding me back? Because I was thinking small instead of just doing it, waiting for perfect moments. There is no perfect moment. No one is coming to save you but you. There is no moment coming to save you but you. What's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to create some paintings? Oh, that's terrible. Oh, that's treacherous. Planning, always planning instead of publishing. That's why I love the quote where it's that someone out there who's dumber than you is more successful than you. It's usually people who are so educated and they're waiting for the book to tell them when to do something. Those are the ones who, you do well in corporate America, but when it comes to business, usually the ones who are successful are the ones who aren't so um I'm not going to say educated, but aren't necessarily waiting for the book to tell them when to start. You're waiting for everything. You're waiting for the A plus. Well, I have to get an A plus first on my book assignment for me to start working. I see. First, I did a research on the thesis of how this is going to work. Well, first, I have to ask Chat GPT if this is a valuable, like, those are all theories. Instead of going off of someone who's already done it. Organizing instead of selling. You know how much you could have been selling already instead of you just, well, hold on, I still got to write down this book report on my business plan. The other people who were, that's why they call it a beginner's luck. The beginner's luck is just, he's just dumb enough, he's just naive enough to jump off the diving board. He's not waiting for the book report to jump off the diving board. He just jumps off the diving board. And then they're usually successful because they didn't know that you weren't supposed to jump off the diving board in the deep end and all this other stuff that you overanalyzed in your mind. And Sometimes, like that's why I love like the community where I just show people how easy it is to post on eBay and how I do it from my perspective, from how I was able to list. Even at the beginning of the year, I went back and I had to update 300 paintings, and I show you how quick I went into the system and how I was able to update them and do it by taking the pictures. It's so simple. You don't need to overcomplicate anything. Only thing you need is your cell phone. You don't need any fancy pictures. Some people actually think that they got to go out there and buy a Canon camera, right? Or some other stuff to get started. People love talking about their goals instead of starting them, and then you're in the everlasting loop. How many of you out there actually know so many people in your circle or heard so many people from your job? They complain about the job, but they've been there. They're still there year after year and they complained about it. Or people who talk about the same goal, but yet they haven't accomplished anything on the goal. And then they make it more difficult. The reason why is because they talk about it too much. Don't be talking about your goal like that because you're robbing yourself out of doing it. I see so many people waste their time with life and they've already wasted so much time. Like life has already taken so much from you anyways. That's the thing that always trips me out that I always tell people is like, how much more time do you have to waste and lose? You've already wasted so much time and life has already taken so much from you. Your job has already taken so much time from you. What makes you think that you still have such more time to waste? To figure it out. When is it going to get to the point like that's why my teachings and my coaching and my community is only for the initiated. It's always been that way since day one. I never claim that this is for everyone. Everyone can do this, but it's mostly successful for people who you've got to a certain point where you're like, I don't have no time to lose. I need to make the money now. I need to make the freedom now. I need to make the possibilities now. And you don't even have to be like where I'm going to be a full-time artist or I'm going to be, you could just do it for an opportunity to to go on to the next step, whatever it's going to be, whatever the next exit is of your life. Or even if it's just you want a vacation or you want to have extra money for investing. Nothing else is going to grant that for you. What are you going to do? You're going to go out there and get a part-time job? No, you're not in this economy. You're just going to waste more time that way. And you're going to waste money. Once you feel like you've had enough of insurance taking so much from you, pricing gone up, gas bills, you have nothing to lose. At that point, you're like, all right, anything's better than what I've been doing for the past years. The definition of insanity is to keep doing the same things over and over and expecting different results. You're over there expecting different results by complaining or wishing upon a star, talking about goals and dreams instead of pursuing it. Instead of going after it, because nobody else is going to go after it for you. Need to stop thinking small. Give yourself permission to think bigger. I'll think bigger one day once the sales hit me, then I'm allowed to think bigger. Nah. Give yourself permission to think bigger now, even if you have nothing to your name. That way you naturally graduate yourself. Like, small thinking will also have you feeling productive without making any money. It's the craziest thing I talk about all the time when it comes to dopamines. Dopamines feed off of you telling people a certain goal, and your brain doesn't understand the difference between you actually achieving the goal or you talking about it. That's why it's important not to be too much on what you're talking about. Your brain doesn't understand the difference, and your brain will automatically reward you. Your brain will automatically reward you for talking about it, and you don't even have to achieve it no more. What's the point of achieving it? You already got the dopamine from telling people, and they congratulated you before doing the work. Now you don't want to do the work. Oh man, now I got to do the work, but it feels so good that I already told people and they were proud of me. All right, there's our eagle right there, our bald eagle. So patriotic. All right, so colorful. Look at that. Awesome. I love it. I love it. Let me know what you think. Exactly. Someone will love it. Someone will always love those. All right, let's do one more. Let's do one more for the road. And that's a great point, exactly. So later on, if you want to do the buy it nows, or if you want to do the Mona Lisas, if you want to do the gallery art stuff, it's better to start your day off very fast, very loose, get it up under your belt, get it done and over with. So then that way later on in the day, when you still have energy, you could focus on the art pieces that you want to spend a little bit more time in, and you want to put it into your buy it now for your Rolex pricing. You can do that. But you have to start off fast and loose. Get it done with for your auctions. Then you could focus later on the Mona Lisas into your auction or to your buy it now. But also it's going to give you a psychological boost as well too to start off this way. Because you're going to be like, dang, it's already 8 o'clock or 8 a.m. It's already 9 a.m. and I finished so much work. Like I've already finished 12 paintings. Thank you, Corbellic. Like I feel so much better. Normally I would have never been able to finish paint, or I thought I wouldn't have been able to finish paintings that quick. I was able to already produce. And now I feel so much better about my day. A lot of times people start their day off wrong, and I understand that you start your day off doing Mona Lisas. Don't do that. If you start your day off taking your time on paintings and you're only doing one, two, whatever, you're going to waste your whole day. Your day's going to go by and you only did a few paintings. And then you're going to say, oh, it's because of how you work or whatever. It's not about how you work. It's not about talent. It's about systems. Your system was set up wrong. You need to start off fast and loose, and it's going to give you a psychological advantage to how you produce later on in the day. It's going to make you feel better because you're already going to have a body of work underneath you. Let's see here. All right. On this topic, we're talking about you need to scale your business to scale your income. Your income, it usually reflects your business model. So that's why you need to scale your business to scale your income. You want more money? Then scale your business. Give yourself permission to automatically scale your business. Then the cool thing about eBay's algorithm, and you only get this with eBay, you get it for free practically, is that it will meet you more than halfway as long as you stress the system and you're consistent. They're like, whoa, this person's consistent. They're hitting these high volume numbers when they're just showing up. And you don't have to do it all the time, but at least starting out, you're scaling your business. When you scale it up, they're going to meet you halfway by providing you the collectors and that volume of customers to come look at your shop, to be there. All right, we're doing a pink flamingo on this one. I mean, I don't know how many times I got to say this, but like people hit the ceiling that they secretly believe. Whatever your limits is in your life, especially in your business, we all have a limit of what we secretly believe that we deserve. Whatever you feel like you deserve, you're right. You're right or wrong or whatever you believe. Whatever you secretly believe your ceiling is, especially when it comes to eBay, because the algorithm and the money is the algorithm is smarter than we are, and it knows what you scale it at, and whatever you're scaling your business at is also where you're scaling it at mentally. And you need to put yourself in a mindset to where you feel like you deserve more and you're going to put it up to more, and you're not waiting for the moment for your store to get bigger. Make your store bigger now, and then your ceiling gets higher. Every time that I coach somebody and I'm looking at their data and I'm looking at their numbers, I'm looking at the money of how much they're making, they always are at the same ceiling. And I always tell them that's not by coincidence. You're hitting the same ceilings because this is where you believe that you should be at. And then since you believe that's where you're going to be at, eBay is always going to keep you at that ceiling. Let me know if that makes sense in the comments and I'll continue. All right, now we got the 1-inch brush. I love painting pink flamingos as well because I can't go wrong with it, to be honest. Love it. One thing I always talk about is we have to take care of our bodies as artists. One of the things that I do, if not every week, or when I'm really in heavy promotion mode, if I'm in heavy work mode, every week I have a masseuse that I go to, and she's the best. She stands on my back because I'll get like serious knots, so I don't, I can't. The hands just aren't good enough for me. All right, I need the serious massage. I need the like stand on my back and press in on the knots. I need you to tippy toe into the knots. So that's the type of stuff that I do just because I paint so much. So if you're not doing that, if I didn't have that, it would be hard for me to continue on with my job. You have to take care of yourself. We're like athletes out here. Athletes take care of themselves. I mean, we do have a physical job. So you have to take care of your body. Anybody who says different, I don't understand how you're able to continue on of what we do if you're not taking care of your body. You have to, I mean, I would advise for everybody to get massages. Investing you and then it's like you have to invest like these are investments. But these are investments for your business. And my masseuse, she always knew my body if I had like a hard week. Cause she could tell from like my shoulder. I would always say my painter shoulder. My painter shoulder. Gotta loosen up the painter shoulder. If not, it's like a disaster. You're setting yourself up. You gotta invest in your body. Health is wealth. That's how we're able to have longevity in the game. You have longevity by taking care of your body. Can't be one of these artists out here. I know artists out here who like you ever see them, they like slunched over. They got bad posture. And I'm like, dang, because they sit at a desk forever or like one of the things like I like doing batch artwork, right? Like I've done so much batch artwork off of the table. And for doing it for years though, it's hard for me to do it now because I can't look down for too long and work like this. Like I can't work down where my neck is down because then I notice after hours of doing it, and then I'm like, whoa, I can feel it in my neck, and it's hard for me to work like that now. That's why it's like if I ever did do batch, like when I got my studio, I wanted the wall so I could do the batch work on the wall, and it was easier that way because I'm standing and I'm more physical. But back to what I'm saying, people always hit a ceiling in their life of what they believe that they're supposed to have. And you're always going to have that. That's why I always tell people once they hit their goal or whatever their goal is, I was like, all right, let's aim higher. You always have to aim higher because then you're going to achieve it. You're not right or wrong or whatever you say. You're gonna give yourself a frequency, and also the AI is going to be stuck at that frequency of whatever you believe that you should achieve. So what happens, what I notice in a lot of people, they mentally cap their listings and their content with their effort. For some reason, to be like, oh, I just mentally can't do more than this amount. And I understand the feeling because I used to be that as well. I mean, I remember thinking, I remember because I worked hard, right? I remember thinking it was impossible. It was like it was physically impossible for me to do 30 canvases a day. I remember I just thought it was impossible. But then I didn't have a systems in place either. This is before I had the 90-minute rule. This is before I had the structure of working 10, 12 minutes. Like, of course, it's going to be impossible if you don't have the systems in place. And it's also going to be impossible, too, if I don't have the mindset to believe in myself. And I'm putting caps on myself already. Well, this is only the best that I could do. I guess I'll go in tomorrow and I'll do another 7. That's the best that I could do. And that's not true at all. You're going to get to a point where you graduate in your mind where it's going to be easy. But the only way that you could graduate in your mind is when you give yourself permission to just do it now. Get it done and over with. Treat it, say to yourself, okay, this is what I did to myself to graduate. Say to yourself that tomorrow is just going to be a study day. Fine, I'm throwing one day away. Say that you're throwing one day away towards the art. You're investing in one day. And it's just going to be a study. And I'm just going to push out as many paintings as possible to see what I'm capable of. You're going to surprise yourself. But then once you do that, I promise you, you're not going to turn back. You're not going to turn back because then you're going to know what you're really capable of. And you are capable of doing it, especially once you have the systems in place. Everybody who I coach, they've done this and they're able to achieve this, especially when you have the systems in place of what we have and you actually follow it instead of having your ego get too involved. Me, for example, I always tell the story where I went into the studio where I was just so frustrated. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know how, but today I'm going to create 100 paintings because I'm going to make it work. Let's see what happens. Now, when I tell this story, I'm not talking about going to the studio every single day to make the 100 because it just gets better after a while where you don't even have to work that hard, but at least know what you're capable of and not max out your potential. Okay. 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 Let's see here. So I hope that was a good topic of discussion today, dropping some mental gems on you. Hope that was beneficial to really how to scale yourself up. Don't wait for it. There is no such thing as waiting for it. Just give yourself permission to do it as soon as possible. And then naturally, you have no choice but to keep up the evolution of whatever you scaled. Don't normalize low sales. Don't normalize being low because once you normalize these things, then that's the frequency that's always going to stay wherever you're at. Whatever your sales number is at, there was a point of time where for some reason, I mean, it was like a year or so, for some reason, I could not get past $15,000 a month. Like no matter what, even if I wasn't even like close to the 15,000 and maybe I had one more week until the end of the month, then all of a sudden it it would always stop at 15,000. Like at the end of the month, all the sales would come and it would always be 15,000. It's because the system is already that. And I was normalizing where my scale was at for myself. I was normalizing it instead of giving myself permission to just scale up without waiting for some magical moment. All right, look at there. There's our colorful pink flamingo. Let me know what you think. And I couldn't get past it because I had a mental block of what I was believing, of what was possible and what I deserve. Bigger numbers, bigger numbers, and bigger numbers, bigger things in your business, in your life, they require a bigger identity. And it's up to you to show up. And it costs nothing either. I would tell that to people all the time. Like the person who you want to be in the future, you could shape that reality today. It's not based off of what the reality is today. Today you might be like, oh, I'm sad, I'm poor, I'm broke. But whoever you want to be in the future, it costs you nothing to pretend to be that person today. What does that person look like? Write it down. If it's a movie, like it's a movie. Does that person wake up early in the morning? Does that person eat a well-balanced breakfast? What is that? I mean, it costs you nothing to wake up early in the morning, right? It costs you nothing to go outside and to get 10,000 walks with the sun or to do a few push-ups, or for you, it costs you nothing to do these things because that's what the person looks like of who you want to be in the future, right? So that's how you change your reality. You don't base it off of today. So I hope that makes sense. Sometimes, I don't know, sometimes I feel like when I'm done with these live streams, I'm like, is it too deep of the things that I'm saying? Or does it make sense? Because these are the mindsets of how I I was able to be successful and how a lot of people are able to be successful. I took a lot of coaching, mentors. I paid thousands of dollars for these type of things that I'm giving to you for free. And a lot of times it's funny, I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of times these things of what I'm saying, people pay thousands of dollars for it. So it makes more sense to them because they're actually paying for it. And I'm a believer that a lot of times people only respect what they pay for. So when you're receiving things for free, it goes in one ear and out the other. Instead of like when you go to these coaching things and people are paying $10,000 to hear what I'm giving to you, people really take it in and it's more of a placebo effect that they're able to elevate in their life. All right, so that's what we got today. That was really cool. That was really fun. Let me ice this down. When I talk about icing it down, right? I'm just talking about water in this. I need to water this down. All right. There we go. So that was really cool. That was a really fun episode. I appreciate everybody being here. Leave a like on the video if you haven't already. If you're not already a part of the elite community, you could click the link below into the chat. It's pinned to there. And you can join us in the elite community so you can learn how you can do this for yourself. Awesome community. Everybody there is supportive. Everybody there is there to help you out. You start off with a 14-day orientation so that way you learn how to build your account up properly. All right. You don't want to mess your account up. You get your listings in there. And then by the end of the 14th day, you will have your first sales in there. All right. Join me later tonight. I'm going to be having a live stream show where we're going to be sitting down. We're going to be talking. I'm going to be doing some reaction videos. I'm going to be spotlighting winners from the elite community, showing some of that stuff, and then also breaking down how to make like your first $1,000 sales. Because really, once you start slow and you start making your first 1,000, that's the best thing ever. When I think of $1,000, I think of $100,000 because once you have that, you could know how to scale it up and you could know how to flip it up. So those are really more important than just having $100,000, $1,000,000. All right, it's like it starts slow. So join me tonight, 6 p.m. for that show, and I'll see you later. I appreciate you guys. Leave a like on there. Let me see here. Let me see if we have any super chats in here before I leave out. All right. No super chats. All right. So I'll check you out later and I appreciate it.